Well, another day, another set of circumstances to look into. Hey, in case you're wondering, I'm somewhat of a private detective, though I have been called many, many other things. Today, I'm in a city called Dew Point, a fairly small place. Not much to it, actually, which is surprising. In terms of cities, it's actually on the larger end of things, somewhere in between a real city and a town. Regardless, I recently got a call from a contact, which is where I am now. I stop and light up a cigarette, taking a long drag as I look up at the apartment complex in front of me. A fairly cramped apartment complex, mostly for college kids and small families. As I exhale a small cloud of smoke, the only thing I can really hope for is that this isn't a complete waste of my time. As I walk through the double glass doors up front, my contact, Tommy, is already there waiting for me. He's most likely been waiting there with bated breath since he gave me the call. Oh, am I glad you're here. Do you know how long I've been waiting here? Tommy exclaims. Yeah, I know, since you gave me the call, right? Well, no, not that long. I do have other stuff to do, Tommy replied, as I took a look to the side, seeing some benches to each side of the hallway entering the apartment complex, deciding to sit down and take a load off for a minute while I listen to Tommy ramble. Okay, have I got some juicy stuff for you? It's right up your alley, man. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Tommy. So, spill. What's the goods? I said as I spread out, trying to make myself comfortable for the moment. I've been pretty busy lately. Well, okay. I do have something for you, and this is really good stuff. I swear it. It is absolutely worth it. Worth it, Tommy? I replied, beginning to furrow my brow a little bit, sensing a butt coming. Tommy wanted something. Ugh, what do you want, Tommy? Look, it's really easy. I'm sure for you it'll be no problem at all. Look, they're saying that the apartment complex is overcramped, that there are too many of us in here, and that they're looking at having to relocate some of us. All I need you to do is make sure that I am not on the list for people to get relocated. I need to be here, man. This is where it's all at. It's heaven. And please, you gotta make sure I can stay. Tommy, your living situation is not my job. Come on, man, aren't we friends? Help me out here. Why in the hell do you even want to stay here anyways? Fucking cramped apartment complex. There are a million of them. Dude, not like this one. Listen to me. I am this close, Tommy said, extending his hand, holding two fingers very close apart from each other, with only a small gap between them. This freaking close, man. Angela, up on 6th floor, she's into me, man. Angela was a professional contortionist. A contortionist, man! A contortionist built like a stripper. And that's only one of dozens of hot chicks around this area, man. I totally have a shot with. But if I get relocated, for all I know, I could end up surrounded by a bunch of gouting old ladies or some crap like that. That cannot happen, man. Just help me out on this. You getting laid is not my problem either, Tommy, I replied, completely annoyed with the situation. Just give me the information. Come on, man. After how long we've known each other, you can't help me out just a little bit? Well, I can make a few calls and see to it that you're reprimanded for making frivolous calls to officials, which I don't think will bode well when they're doing the check to see who gets relocated. Seriously? After all we've been through, that's how you're treating me. Fine, Tommy. Give me the information, and if it's worth it, then I'll write a letter telling them that you've been of great help to me and the work that I've been doing, and that your current living situation is paramount to the information that you provide me. That it's a hotbed for hot tips, so to speak, but only if the information's worth it, I replied as I took another drag of my cigarette. A nice couple entering the glass double doors into the apartment complex passes by me. "There's no smoking in here," the woman said as she passed by, looking at me angrily. Yeah, whatever," I said as she passed straight through Tommy, momentarily turning him into a wisp of fog-like matter that quickly reassumed Tommy's form. Ugh, the nerve of some people, right? Just 'cause you're dead, they think they can ignore you. Like you're not even there. So what? There's many hot chicks that go around here, man. I can deal with it. I mean, seriously. The number of hot chicks that die in drunken bathroom accidents around here is crazy. One night with a little bit too much beer, decide to clean up with a shower, there are no booties on the floor, and bam! Another hot chick in the seemingly infinite collection of hot chick ghosts walking around here. I don't want to hear about your appetites, Tommy. The intel. Yeah, okay, Tommy replied, scratching the back of his head gently for a moment. Look, up on floor 12, there's been some weirdness. Electrical lights flickering, and black mold starting to develop, specifically around one door. Yet the rest of the apartment complex seems to be clear of it. Tommy, is that all you got for me? It doesn't sound any worse than your average pissed-off ghost, which doesn't take a warden to handle. Come on, Victor. Let me finish the story. Look, if that's all it was, I probably wouldn't have called you. The regular warden inspectors probably would have been able to handle it. But there's something else weird to it. The regular wardens did their pass-through and nothing turned up abnormal, despite the weirdness. But there's another stage on top of it. You see, the weirdness seems to be all located around this one place, up on floor 12, apartment 42. You see, apparently, all of the weirdness started about 2 weeks back. And then, about a week after it started, the woman who lived there, with her daughter, apparently had her daughter go missing. She's been gone for about a week now, and as soon as she went missing, all the black mold started showing up, and the flickering lights suddenly stopped. I remembered that you said something about extremely powerful spiritual entities being able to hide their presence, but it leaving after effects if they move on, like heavy black mold popping up suddenly, and strange occurrences with the living, like, per se, a disappearance. I took a drag of my cigarette as I listened to Tommy finish up, blowing a thick cloud of smoke through his form and throwing the cigarette down, stomping it out. Well, I'll be damned, Tommy. That might actually be useful. Good work. You've earned yourself a complimentary letter. Awesome! Tommy exclaimed joyfully. Oh, I'm staying. Don't you worry. I'll keep my nose to the ground. Look out for some more stuff for you. You help me, I help you. One hand scratches the other, right? Yeah, Tommy. Thanks for the intel. I'll talk to you later, I said, walking past him as I began making my way to the elevator up, clicking the button as Tommy waved at me from down the hall, with the elevator doors closing. Yep, another day, another round of weird shit. But a disappearance does put a life on the line with this one. It's possible that the girl's still alive. If she is, then she most likely is in some form of danger. The supernatural entities especially the spiritual kind, can leech off of people, possess them, control them, manipulate them. I thought to myself as the elevator continued to go up. It's probably a good thing for this girl that Tommy knew me. Otherwise, they probably would have chalked her disappearance up to just a runaway, or a random kidnapping. Though it still is sort of a kidnapping, they're highly unlikely to catch the kidnapper. If he's a ghost, they can't exactly put him in handcuffs. Well, they can't. I can. As the elevator doors opened up to the 12th floor, and I began making my way down the hallway. About halfway towards the end of the hallway, I noticed the lights beginning to flicker somewhat. Looking over to check and giving one a tap, it continued to flicker sporadically. It didn't feel like there were any cold spots as of yet, so no pissed off spirits around currently, most likely due to spectral aftermath, the echo left by a powerful spiritual entity, still affecting the electromagnetic fields in this place, distorting electronics, phone signals, cell reception, internet, the works. As I finally approached room 42. As I approached the door, I could hear a woman inside talking. It sounded like she was having a heated conversation over the phone. "What do you mean you don't have any leads? My daughter's been gone for a week. You don't have anything? Please, just give me something. A direction, a hope," the woman said frustratedly, as for a moment there was silence in the room, before it sounded like she was sniffling a bit. "Yes, I understand," she said, before the slight sound of a beeping, most likely the sound of her turning off a cell phone, came through the doorway, gently, as I stepped back and took a gentle knock at the door. It took her a few moments to get to it, unlatching a few chains and bolt locks, as she peeked through the side of the door, only opening it a small bit. Hello?" she said, looking out to me standing in the hallway. Hello, ma'am. My name's Victor. I've recently heard of the troubling events that have transpired with the disappearance of your daughter. I didn't contact any private detectives," the woman exclaimed, peeking her face through the side of the door. "I know, ma'am. I heard about your case through a few of my contacts. I'm a freelance private detective, and I often like to take cases that everyone else seems to have forgotten about, or thinks that they can't get a handle on. I'm sorry, I don't have any money." "Money isn't a problem, ma'am. I work pro bono. I help people because it's the right thing to do. You don't need to pay me." "I don't?" "No, not a cent. I'm here to help find your daughter. Money isn't what matters. It's her life that counts. And if I can, I want to help bring it back to you." For a moment, the woman stared at me through the gap in the door before closing it, hearing a few chains unlatch as she opened the door, wiping a few tears away from her face. "Thank you. You can come in." Thank you, ma'am. "Do you have any sort of ID? Some verification?" Yeah, of course," I said, taking out my wallet and removing my ID, as well as my certification to be a private detective in this state. "You can go ahead and backcheck any of that you want. It's easy enough to look up online." Thank you. You can hold on to that for the moment. For right now, I'd like to take a look around. The best place to usually start, it tends to be where the child spent the most time." Yeah, okay. "She spent the most time in her room. It's over this way," the woman said, as she began to guide me further back into the apartment and through a short hallway, leading to a small door with colorful stickers on it. Opening it up, to a somewhat messy child's room. Stuffed animals on the bed, toys on the floor, a television set, and a computer nearby. Well, the cops came and they already checked her computer. They said that she hadn't been on any communications websites that predators might have tried to target her on. And according to their check, the only people's fingerprints that were in the room were mine and my daughter's. Her name is Jenny. All the doors and windows were locked the night that she disappeared. There was no way she could have gotten out and then relocked the doors. It's like she just evaporated. The cops, well, they're honestly blaming me. According to them, they say it's a much more plausible theory that I simply locked all of the doors afterwards, thinking that I had forgotten to lock them before. But I'm telling you, all of the doors were locked the entire night. They didn't come unlocked for any reason, and I most definitely didn't get up in the middle of the night and relock them, especially not without remembering it. I just want her back, she said as she panned over the room with her eyes, looking at the colored pictures on the walls, the stuffed animals on the beds, the surface and the floor around it, walking up and grabbing a small stuffed frog, giving it a squeeze as it gave a small ribbit noise, most likely an inflatable sound squeaker on the inside. It's okay, ma'am. I understand what you're going through, but I'm going to need to take a closer look around. Perhaps you could use this time to go check out my credentials, or make yourself something to drink. Some tea, perhaps. Calm you down. Yes, she said, as she turned away, beginning to walk down the hallway, closing the door behind her for a moment. As she did, taking the stuffed frog along with her, I knew I didn't have much time until she got back. So, I had to get right to work, checking the computer. Ugh. I sometimes wish regular cops could do the type of things that I could do. It would make catching criminals much easier. But for that, they'd have to believe in the extraordinary, the supernatural and otherwise, which is, well, highly unlikely, I thought to myself as I turned around, taking a few steps towards the bed and kneeling down beside it, looking at the stuffed animals sitting on top. Okay, guys, I'm gonna need to ask you a few questions. You were her closest friends, the people she spent the most time with, the people who cared about her the most, aside from her mother, of course. I know you probably cared for her too. So I'm gonna need you to do me a favor and tell me anything that you know, I said, peering at the stuffed animals, as they began to rouse and move about, lifting themselves up on the bed surface. So you can hear us? And see us? Yeah, of course I can, I replied, smiling to the stuffed bear that was talking. I know it's a bit strange to talk to adults, and a little bit against the rules, but we'll just keep it our secret, okay? But if you want to help your friend, I'm going to need all the information you can give me. Anything that was out of the ordinary, something frightening perhaps. Where exactly did your friend go? The stuffed animals began to look between each other, as I looked across the room to see multiple of the other toys springing to life and beginning to look at me. If it'll help you find her, we'll tell you whatever we can. And as far as anything strange, that's hard to say. Before she went missing, there were so many strange things happening. Scary things, the stuffed animal said, sounding very frightened.